What is going on, guys? We got a trade recap today for Wednesday, April 16th. So we're gonna go over my bias, what I was looking for today, as well as just want to kind of talk over my trading as well. You notice I didn't put out a video in the past couple of days. So first of all, let's get into the trade recap and my bias coming into today. I had a bearish bias. Yes, if we go to the higher time frame 4-hour chart, ES is technically still holding this daily imbalance. If we go to NQ though, NQ inverse this daily imbalance. So I had been bullish through the end of last week and the start of this week because of that reasoning. Because we had displaced higher, broken structure on the 4-hour time frame, opened up this big 4-hour fair value gap, and started to get bullish structure to the upside, wanting to see this be my external draw liquidity. But that hasn't played out the past couple of days, and if we go into the 1-hour chart, we can see since since Friday of last week, really, we've kind of just been chopping around here without any sort of displacement. And so yesterday or last night before the market opened, we had a Newegg opening gap lower. There were some bearish headlines once again with some tariff stuff, I believe. So we had a bearish Newegg opening gap down here. We had displaced lower. Now this was a bullish opening gap right here that we just closed below. If we go to NQ broke structure a lot clearer. We can see below this swing low here. ES, it's not, or I guess, never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about. ES did start to break lower below this swing low. So my bias flipped bearish because this low within the 4-hour fair value gap now becomes my bearish external draw on liquidity. Does that mean that we're going to come take it today? No. Does that mean that we're actually going to come take it at all? Maybe not. But for the time being, we have all this low resistance liquidity, and we haven't displaced to the upside, and we haven't continued to take this buy side liquidity up here, and we have now broken structure back to the downside. So this now becomes our external drawn liquidity if we are going to continue lower. So that's my daily buys, you could say. And then with this opening gap that formed last night after the last trading session closed up, we formed this Newegg opening gap. And so I wanted to see, before I went to bed last night, I said I wanted to see price come up and fill this and continue lower. Now, if we had opened up the morning down here without filling this, we could have taken a bullish internal buy model to that Newegg opening gap. But I came into the morning today, we had already completely filled it, and we started to get bearish reactions, or we started to sell off back to the downside. So this then becomes the internal market maker sell model right here. I have it marked out as a 4-hour liquidity void, treating it as a 4-hour imbalance. But I also have the blue lines marked out, which is how I like to mark out my new day opening gaps. So we have this gap. I'm treating it as a 4-hour imbalance. So scaling into the 15-minute chart, this now becomes the internal market maker sell model within what's potentially the higher time frame market maker sell model, with this external low as my external drawdown there. So I hope that makes sense. So scaling into the 15-minute chart, we have this 15-minute fair value gap, which is just sticking out to me before coming into the pre-market. Market opens down here. I want to see this 15-minute get filled and then get bearish reactions out of it, and then targeting having this 4-hour sell side as my external target for this trade. So we got exactly that, man. Tapping into the 15-minute imbalance when market opened. You can see 9:30, like 10 minutes into market open, 9:40. We come up and put in a high, and then we put in a bearish SMT. So this is where I've made a couple of tweaks within my trading. Is since Trump has taken office, it's been very evident that the market has been super volatile, and so waiting for the way that I like to trade, right, is waiting for that obvious displacement below a swing low and waiting for a pullback to a fair value gap. Well, sometimes this pullback to a fair value gap never happens because of how volatile and how quickly the markets have been moving with Trump in office. That's just how it is. And so I think as traders, it's important to identify these things and be able to be flexible with your trading. And so that's what I'm doing right here. So I've noticed a lot of times it's been very frustrating as well. We don't get this pullback to a fair value gap, and we'll just continue lower and take the liquidity without offering a pullback. So then that would mean no trades for me, right? So I've done a lot of back testing the past couple of days, over the past week, experimenting with entering off of a change in the state of delivery, which is basically an early market structure shift. But for me, I want to have that CISD. I want to have an inverse fair value gap within the range, and I also need to have an SMT at the highs. I need to have some sort of manipulation, proof of manipulation at these highs here in order to enter off of a CISD and an IFEG. So like you can tell, right? Like I guess the swing low was put in right here. You could say that's a swing low. It's not even really a swing low. But if I were to have entered on something like that, like there's not even a fair value gap that opened up within the range before we came down and took this 15-minute sell side. Even if we go to NQ, let me delete this for a second. Even if we go to NQ, I guess you can say we closed below here, and then we pulled back to this 15-minute, or wait, to this 1 minute fair value gap. But at this point, I believe 9:49. This is when this candle pulled back to this fair value gap. Let me turn off. This is when this candle pulled back to this 1 minute bit SIBI here. If we go to ES at 9:49, we had already taken the low at that point in time before NQ even pulled back to that fair value gap. So therefore, this trade right here wouldn't it have even been a valid entry, because at this point, ES had already taken this external sell side. So my point being is that if I had waited for that displacement and a pullback to a fair value gap, I wouldn't have even had an entry here. So I've had to be a little flexible with my entries and with my trades. And so that's why I entered today. We came back to this 15-minute, formed some structure, put in manipulation at the highs. We have a bearish SMT here. NQ put a higher high. If we go to NQ, higher high on NQ. Sorry, lower high on ES. We have that bearish SMT. We have run through the only bullish imbalance within the range here, marked by this red box. This is our IFEG. And then our CISD would be right here. I don't know why I had it marked out there, but our CISD would be right here. This is the last series of up close candles with this manipulation leg before closing below. So this would be the CISD right here, and that is where I entered. We closed below. I put a limit order right here and entered with, I think it was 4 contracts. Entered with 4 contracts because my stop loss was so low. I was able to enter with 4 contracts here. And this is now the protected high. After putting in this SMT, right, and displacing lower, not displacing, after putting in this SMT and getting that change in the state, this high, this SMT high, should not get taken. If this SMT high does get taken, then we're going to come up to this high anyways, and this trade is invalid. So the SMT allows us to play off of that protected high. And so we have about a 2.5 RR to this internal 15-minute sell side liquidity. Now, I didn't take everything off here. I originally took half off at this 15-minute sell side liquidity and left runners to this external 15-minute sell side, or this external 4-hour sell side down here. As you can see, that never ended up getting taken. But I ended up essentially closing everything back out at this level here because we had, when I was in the trade, right, we had this 1 minute order block that we were holding. And if we're going to continue lower, right, we'll just mark that out as a 1 minute. If we're going to continue lower within the range, like if we're going to continue lower and take this this sell slide down here, then we need to keep on respecting bearish PD arrays. Now this is the latest bearish PD array that was formed. We also formed a 1 minute fair value gap within this order block right here. So price is trading down here. We open up this order block and this fair value gap, and I tell myself if we come back up and disrespect it and close above, then I'm just going to exit fully, and it would be as if I took everything off at this internal sell side liquidity, which is exactly what happened. So price came back up. I wanted to see this order block and this fair value gap hold so that we could come down and take this external sell side. If it doesn't hold, then like if we're going to take this sell side liquidity down here, like I said, we're going to hold this PD array and this area of confluence. If not, then we're most likely going to continue to trade back higher, and we would then get stopped at break even right here. So that's why I exited full positions once we closed above this order block. I actually closed, so I was in with 4, closed 2 here originally, right? So I'm left with 2 contracts. Once we closed above this fair value gap on this candle right here, I closed 1 more, and then once we closed above the order block, I closed the last one. So essentially right here for a 2 to 2.5 pretty much risk to reward on the trade as a whole. So and that's more than enough. That is more than enough to be happy with. I'm surprised that we didn't come down and take it on either of these, but should I really be surprised if the market has just been consolidating and chopping around the past few days? No, not really. Also, in addition to that, Powell speaks today at 12:30 or in the afternoon. Powell speaking, so it makes sense why we don't expand, truly expand, and take the external sell side. But that was the trade for me this morning. Very simple, textbook stuff. I'm very glad that I'm incorporating this way, this, I guess you could say, new entry model for me. But in order to have confidence in the CISD entry, like I said, I need to have that manipulation at the highs. I need to have that SMT, which gives me confidence. If there's no SMT, then I need to wait for that swing low to be put in. I need to wait for displacement and a pullback to a fair value gap. But if there's an SMT and we've run through all the bullish imbalances within the range and we've changed the state of delivery, there's no reason not to enter here. And so that's the trade recap for today. I also do want to say that I have been struggling a little bit mentally, and I want to just put that out there because it's completely normal in trading. Like the mental side of trading is the most important thing, and it's common to go through these ups and downs when it comes to the mental side of trading. I've also had some external stuff going on in my life, and it's just put a lot of I was putting a lot of unnecessary pressure on myself. I want to be great. This is what I love to do. This is my passion, and like I've said in previous videos, I want to help you guys. I want to be able to provide for myself with trading, and then once I get to that point, I want to be able to help you guys provide for yourselves and be the light, like be a shining light for other traders around who want to trade as well, because I've been through so much in my trading journey, and if I can give you this information, like this information, these trade recaps are pure gold in my opinion. And if I genuinely, I just love helping people, and I feel like that's what God's calling me to do. And so with that being said, I was just putting, I had some external stuff going on in my life. I was just putting a lot of pressure on myself, and it reflected in my trading. And so I just wanted to tell y'all guys how I'm actually doing with my own trading. And so that's why I did a lot of back testing. I also was getting super frustrated with the fact that I wasn't getting any valid entries. Like I would have the external draw liquidity, but we wouldn't get this pullback to a fair value gap, right? And that was causing me to be very, very frustrated, and then causing me to not trade well and take early entries out of FOMO, right? And it's important to recognize these emotions when they come up in your trading, because they're very real things, and you're not going to be able to deal with them if you don't identify these emotions when they actually do come up, because they're going to come up at some point in time within trading. That's just how it is. Trading is emotional. Trading is all mental. But with that being said, man, that's my little update for you guys. This win feels extremely good, especially considering the fact that it's a newer sort of entry model for me with this. And it feels good to like see this, having adjusted my entry, having made those adjustments, and to have it pay off like this. It just feels good. So that's a trade recap for today, man. And if you're struggling with your trading, this is your sign to just keep going, bro. Like, it happens. The best traders in the world, they go through divots in there. They go through ups and downs. They go through the lows as well. The best traders in the world do. And you're never as good of a trader as you think you are when you're at your highs, and you're never as bad of a trader as you think you are when you're at your lows. It's important to remember that. And if you have a profitable model, then just stick with it, and everything's going to pay off, and there's no reason for you to force any bad trades, right? I went back and back testing and was up 13R in a month and a half, right? Like, so why am I questioning myself? Why am I forcing things that aren't even there if my model is profitable? 13R in a month and a half, like, bro, that'll play every day of the week. So had to get a little bit of confidence back, and this definitely helps with that. So market recaps will be back each and every day. I appreciate y'all for sticking around. I hope y'all found some value out of this video. Let me know if you took a trade today. To me, these shorts were super, super clear for the reasons that I stated. And yeah, man, exactly what I wanted to see happen today. And that's the trade recap. All right, I actually have one last thing I'd like to leave you guys with. And it's just to trust in God's timing, because God's timing for yourself is so much better than your own timing and your own plan for yourself. And once you submit to Him and submit to His timing for yourself, you'll have a sense of peace that just comes over you, and it takes all the pressure off of you. And it can be applied to trading and just life in general, in all aspects of life, trading included. So I want to read one verse to you guys. This really stuck out to me in my own Bible studies. It is Job 22:21, and it says, "Submit to God and be at peace with Him. In this way, prosperity will come to you." Now, prosperity, I had to look up the definition. Let me just pull it up real quick. So, prosperity definition is state of being prosperous. Similar words are wealth, success, profitability. Come on, man. Let's just go to prosperous definition. It's successful in material terms, flourishing financially, bringing wealth and success. So prosperous means wealth and success in material terms and financially. So let me read this one more time, guys. Let me read this one more time. Job 22:21. Submit to God and be at peace with Him. In this way, prosperity will come to you. So through God, God will provide. And when you're at peace with Him, things will just start to align. And He will provide for you. God is our provider. He is our Father. And so I just wanted to leave y'all guys with that. That's really been sticking on my heart lately. And it's one of my favorite verses as of right now. And it's really helping me get through this time, because God is the provider. And once you stop trying to force things for yourself and trust on Him and His ways, you will see those desires, those riches come to you, and He will bless you with them once you fully submit to Him. And so God's timing is so much better than our own timing. His plan is so much better than our plan. And with that, that's all I wanted to leave you guys with. So, God bless. I will see y'all on the next one. Peace.